Welcome to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe down below. Today we're going to be talking about the next lesson.
This is the recap
series. Yeah.
This is the sex series recap for, what is it?
Don't say that word. YouTube has community guidelines.
It has to be ad-friendly or whatever that term. It.
That could be anything. That's a horror movie.
We're going to talk about it.
That doesn't count.
Are you even recording this?
Yeah.
Oh.
And we out.
And deuces.
Ouch.
Hey, well, it's Chris here. Thank you guys so much for visiting here at the YouTube channel. This is going to be a recap from the HSM here at the Hobson campus with the Compass Church. And we've been in this series called Distance the Stars Can Be Misleading. And this past week on Sunday night, we looked at our myth number 4. And the myth is everyone's doing it. And somehow in some way, this idea that everyone's doing it, we buy into it. And when we say everyone's doing it, we literally don't mean everyone. We just mean everyone, meaning those we think are important or valuable enough to be considered everyone. And so we're saying everyone's doing it. And really when we do this, we're just trying to give ourselves kind of like our own self-induced peer pressure to say that it's totally fine to act upon any desire we have, because if A person's doing it or B person's doing it, then it must be fine, some kind of justification to do whatever it is that we want to do. And this is kind of rooted a little bit in James chapter 1, and it talks about how all of us aren't tempted by God. We're actually tempted by our own desires and lusts within us that give birth to sin, that sin gives birth to death. And when we say everyone's doing it, again, it's this self-peer pressure that we're putting upon ourselves and giving ourselves permission to do whatever we want to do. But we can't forget within our culture that Jesus warned us of this in Matthew chapter 7 when he says, wide is the path that leads to destruction, but narrow is the path that leads to life. And in 1 Peter chapter 1, he even tells us that, man, we are to be holy. We're to be set apart because he is set apart. And we are to be holy because he is holy. We are not called to just go with the flow. We are not called to be like sheep that just continue to do what everyone else is doing and using that as permission to do it ourselves. And we have to ask ourselves, are we truly wanting to surrender these desires and passions that we have to God? Or are we just going to use this as justification to do whatever we want to do, to give way to that desire that's within us? Or are we going to surrender even this aspect of our life to what God's word's asking of us? In Romans chapter 1, it has a lot to say about people who are choosing to live their life for God, and even those who choose to not live their lives for God, and how they begin to serve the creature rather than the creator. And God gives them up to a depraved mind to do all kinds of things that ought not be done. And while they're doing those things, it even says that the culture and other people are going to celebrate them and give hearty approval for their decisions. Look, I am not saying that this is easy. I am not saying that it is popular. I am not saying that it is mainstream. In fact, it is all the opposite of what our culture is saying. But when we're using this myth that everyone's doing it as justification, it's really just to give way to these desires that are within us. So we have to ask ourselves, how are we truly surrendering? Are we being sheep led to slaughter, or are we being sheep that are going to start to respond to the voice of our shepherd? His name is Jesus. Look, everyone is not enough, but Jesus is. So as you break off into your groups, hopefully you'll have some conversation to talk about this a little bit more. I'd love to have you come check out on Sunday nights here at the Hobson campus from 7 to 8:30. We'll be meeting next week when we'll be looking at myth number 5, which is just be safe, smart, and protected. Again, be sure to like, comment, subscribe below. Apparently we're coming up close. Hey, see you later. Creepy. Yep.